Hi everyone, this is Ellen from the Astrology Journal. In this video, we're going to go over how to divide degrees, minutes, and seconds. So in the last video, we took this number, 132 degrees, 54 minutes, and 26 seconds, and we multiplied it by 4, and we got the result, let's see if I can find that. We got the result 528 degrees, 216 minutes, and 104 seconds. I'm pretty sure that's right. Let me just look at my cheat sheet. 528, 216, 104. Yeah. Okay. So that's the number we got. And so now we're going to take this. So the longitude. So again, to repeat what we're doing here, we're taking the longitude of the event location. So what we want to do is take the time and date of the event location and convert it into sidereal time. And one of the steps we have to do that is we have to take the longitude of the location, convert the longitude into time. So it's called longitude time equivalent. And then what we'll do is we'll add or subtract that to the Greenwich sidereal time that we got. You have to go back and listen to the intro video to understand that if you don't understand it. Well, I may as well explain it because it doesn't hurt to repeat. And the more you repeat, the easier, it becomes easier. So we take the location time, the location event time and date, and that's tropical. It's always a tropical time and date. And then we convert it to Greenwich Mean Time, which is also a tropical time and date. We've just changed it so that it's as if the event happened in Greenwich Mean Time. And then we convert that to sidereal time. And then we do a couple of little things there. And then ultimately what we do is we convert that sidereal time, which is still Greenwich in the Greenwich Mean Time zone. And we want to convert it back to the location time. And we do that. We take the longitude, we convert it to a time equivalent, longitude time equivalent. And then we add or subtract that to the Greenwich sidereal time so that we end up with local sidereal time. And the formula to convert longitude to longitude time equivalent is multiply the longitude times 4 and then divide that result by 60. And longitudes often are given in degrees, minutes, and seconds. Sometimes they're given in decimal degrees. But right now we're showing what happens if you have it in degrees, minutes, and seconds. How do you do that? How do you calculate that by hand? So we're going to go to a new sheet here, and we're going to put 528 degrees, 216 minutes, and 104 seconds. I'm going to get rid of my video, my webcam. And then we're going to divide this by 60. And so essentially we can do the same thing, but we can just do the same thing. So we can take 528, let's start way over here, divide that by 60. And what we get when we do that is 60, this is 8. 8 times 0 is 0, 8 times 6 is 48. And so we go 8, 5, 4, and that's 48. So we end up with 8 hours, and then we have 48 hours left over. So what we can do with that 48 hours, let's just put that 8 hours over here. That's one of our answers. And what we can do with this 48 hours, we can't do anything with it with the 60. We don't want to get a decimal. We want to get minutes. So we can convert this 48 hours. We can multiply it times 60. So there's 60 minutes in an hour. We have 48 hours. If we multiply 48 by 60, we wind up with minutes. So we multiply that by 60, and we get, so 0, we start with 0. 6 times 8 is 48, and 6 times 4 is 24, plus 8. So we wind up with, and this is hours. And so we wind up with 2,880 minutes. And what we can do is add that to the 216. So we can say 216 plus 2880, and that gives us 6, 9, that's 10, and 3. So we wind up with 3,096 minutes. So then we can take that 3,096 minutes and divide it by 60. And this is going to give us the longitude time equivalent for minutes. So 60 goes into 309 5 times. So that's 5 times 6 is 30, and we add that 0 here. So that's 300, and we end up with 96. And it goes in, 60 goes into 96 once, and we end up with 6 and 3. So we get 51 minutes with 36 minutes left over. 60 doesn't go into 36. So we can pull this 41 minutes over here, and then we want to convert. So there's 60 seconds in 30 in a minute, 60 seconds in a minute. So we can, I'm sorry, I'm pointing to things and I'm realizing you can't see me pointing. So anyway, here's the 36. So there's 36 minutes, there's 60 seconds in a minute. So we can multiply 36 times 60 to get seconds. And that gives us 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 3 is 21. That gives us 2,160 seconds. And we want to add that to the 104 till we get 2160 plus 104. And so that gives us 4 and 6 and 2 and 2. So we get 2,264. I'm kind of running out of space here. Let's go to a new sheet. 2,264. Oops. So we have 2,264 seconds, and we've already figured out 8 hours and 51 minutes. And so now for the seconds, we want to divide this by 60. And 60 goes into 226. That would be 3 times. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 6 is 18. And that gives us 6, and that gives us 4. So we have 46 left over. We bring down that 4. We get 464, and that's going to be 7. 60 goes into this 7 times. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 6 is 42, and that gives us 4 and 4. So we get 37 seconds, and we have an extra 44 seconds. Well, we know that 44 seconds, there are 60 seconds in 60 seconds, and we know that 44 seconds is like almost 3/4 of 60 seconds. So we know that it's pretty much 0.75, or it's close to 0.75. So we could round this up, but we can do the math to show this. So we can we can add a 0 and bring this, and do that. And we can, so 0.0, and then we get a point. And we can say 60 goes into 440. That is 7 times. So we get 0.7. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 6 is 42. That gives us 20. We can add another 0, and that gives us 6. That goes in 3 times. So we get 37.73. And that, so we can say that's 38 seconds. So our answer, our longitude time equivalent is 8 hours, 51 minutes, and 38 seconds. So we can, now we can check our work. So, and I forgot to check the multiplication, so we can check that too. So we started 132, 132 degrees, 54 minutes, and 26 seconds. And we multiplied that times 4. And that gave us our answer. Let's pull up. So this is where we might have to explain a couple of things. So the answer that we got, so here's the answer we got: 528, 216, and 104. So they're telling us it's 171, 37, and 44. So let's go over that. We'll just do that here. So what they're doing, so let's take this number, 528, 260, and 104. 528 degrees, 216 minutes, 104 seconds. So what they're doing is they're making this so that it's like minutes and seconds that make sense to us. So they're taking away 60 seconds here. So they're converting 104 to minutes and seconds, and then they're converting 216 to degrees and minutes, and then they're adjusting this. So a circle is 360 degrees. So when they get to 360 degrees, they're starting from scratch. So we're going to work this out. So this is 4. That's 44. So we subtracted 60 seconds here. That equals a minute. We want to add that in here, and we get 217 minutes. So we have 44 seconds and 217 minutes. So now we want to get this to a number that makes sense. So we're just going to subtract 60, and we're going to keep doing this until we get to a number that makes sense, a number that that you can't subtract 60 anymore without going into a negative number. So this is 217 minus 60. So this is 7, and this is 1 and 6 and 5. And so that's 157 minutes. We've subtracted 60 minutes, so we want to make sure we add the hour here, so we don't want to forget it. Add the hour here, and then we're going to subtract 60 again, and that's going to give us 7 and 0 and 15, and that's going to give us 97. So we subtracted that. That's another hour. We want to add another hour. We're still not done. 97 minus 60, and that gives us 37. Now we're done, but we want to make sure that we add this 60 to 528. So we get 8, 9, 10, 11. And 1 carry, and that's 3, and that's 531. So now we have 531 degrees, 37, 40, that's actually minutes, sorry, but this is minutes. So I don't have a way to erase. I'm not sure why. There's got to be a way to do it, but I haven't figured it out. Anyway, 531 degrees, 37 minutes, and 44 minutes and 44 seconds. And that looks pretty good, except that 531. So we have 37 minutes and 44 seconds. But now if we do this, if we take that 534 hours and we subtract 306, or degrees rather, and we subtract 360, we wind up with, this is 7 and this is 1. We wind up with 171. So our numbers check out in terms of the multiplying. And then we divided, so I think we were here. Was it this one? So we have 8 hours, 51 minutes, and 38 seconds. Oops, I didn't mean to cancel that out. So we have 1, 3, 2 degrees, 54 minutes, 26 seconds, times 4. So that's our starting point. And then we divide that by 60. And what we wind up with is 8 hours, 51 minutes, 37.73 seconds. And that's what we got. So this is our longitude time equivalent. And what we do, so we can say this is time. So we can do 8, 51, 38. And then we would have, let's go to another sheet. So 8, 51, 38, I think is what I said. 8, we'll do 0, 8, just so that we have the places and placeholders. 51 minutes, was it 51? I think it's 37, right? I think I got that wrong. 8 hours, 8 hours, 51, 38. Okay. So 8 hours, 51 minutes, and 38 seconds. Oops. So we can do 0, 8, 51, 38. And what if our time was 3 hours? What if our Greenwich sidereal time was 3 hours, or 3 hours, it would be this way usually. 3 hours, 14 minutes, 14 minutes and 3 seconds. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused, but you know what I mean. I'm just trying to write it the way you would normally write time. 14 and 3 seconds. So with the longitude, once we get the longitude, we either add or subtract that to the Greenwich sidereal time, and it'll make sense when we get there, which we need to do, and I'll explain that when we get there. But let's just say we have to add this to Greenwich Mean Time. So we have, or let's say we have to add this to Greenwich Mean Time. So we have the this 14:03, and then we add 08:51. 38. Sorry, 38. And so we just add. So 8 and 3 is 11, and that's 4, so that's 41. And then we get 4 and 1 is 5, and 5 and 1 is 6, so we'll have to convert that. We'll do that in a second. And 8 and 3 is 11. So here we just take away 60. This is 60 minutes. We end up with 5, and we add that hour here, plus 1. So we wind up with 12:05:41 as our local sidereal time. So I hope that made sense. Please ask questions if you have any. Watch the video. If this is confusing to you, watch the video by Christopher Stevens. Ask questions. I'll do my best to answer. If there are people who are following along with this who know math well and can jump in and answer questions, you may be able to answer it better than I can. That would be great. But just watch that Christopher Stevens video and try a couple of examples, and wherever you're stuck, ask questions, and I'll do my best to jump in and answer, and hopefully others will also jump in and answer. And so I'll leave it there. And I'm thinking about opening up the chat option for the Substack and maybe having questions and answers and chats, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm fine with it being in the comments also. So we'll play it by ear. Maybe what I'll do is just put out a survey and ask people what they would like to do around this. Okay, so that's it. And then in the next video, we'll do decimal degrees, and I'll go over how that works. Okay, I will be back soon. Bye.